So that's how I collaborated with my canvas works and my graffiti into my installations, which is what I do now, mostly installations, and I always put my works into two sessions. I have one part which is dealing directly with the community, and I have one part which is the work itself, which is the installation. And another part of it is the series that I'm doing, the Endless project that I'm doing called Celebration of Women is Endless, where I use fabric. And the inspiration of this started from my mom. So I collect this fabric from seamstress across. Now, when I started the work in 2013, I used to say I collect the fabric across Ghana. And gradually it grew from Ghana to neighboring West African countries. And now it's basically the world because it's spreading out. And I'm making contact with seamstress in Europe, mostly Germany and Italy, because I work directly with West African community, immigrants community. That is my interest. I'll collect all of these fabric pieces, work in my studio with the community, with the small community of women who are around me to create a huge wall. So we will lay just like a brick arrangement, the traditional brick arrangement of a wall. And the idea of building a wall should be a wall that is speaking about unity. Because when you build a wall, the technique in building a wall is mimicking unity instead of separation. It is a wall that is to call people to come into communal labor. The women we see here are from various countries. Some of them are Latino, but when you talk with everyone who is an immigrant in the US, they all have affiliation to West Africa Africa. So I can say, yes, they are all from Africa, and then no, they are all from various countries, just to be specific of their demographic. There are people from Puerto Rico, Mexico. The South Bronx is dominated by Latinos and also West Africans. So they're from various countries. So this installation that we are in now, and some of them are also from Ghana, whom I know directly. They are from Ghana. Some I know from this neighborhood. A number of these fabrics have various purposes and based on the meaning. So some of them have proverbs which are given to by the women who wear it, and some come with the symbols on them. So when I get into a community like where we are now, when I got into South Bronx, I looked for partners. And my partners are usually organizations that care for women and children. So I collaborated with Mothers on the Move. It's an organization that helps fight for housing and social justice a lot. They do a lot for this community. So this portrait here is Wanda. So she introduced me to her community of women who come to her. There was a party, so I went to the party, talked with them, and invited them. I would be building the wall, and they wouldn't come all at once. When I was in Trinidad, I did a whole group at once. But here, they would come like 1, 2, just help me, and then we'll talk, take a picture of the person, save it down until I had about 30 pictures. Then I shuffled and started making the drawings. I'm still making the drawings.
So it's just ongoing?
It's ongoing. That's why I say this project is aimed at celebration of women is endless. I don't know, this project is never going to finish. One, I'll talk about what I learned directly from women that I think which brings us to the notion that women are not selfish. I was working in a community of women, that is, I learned not to be selfish. And in Trinidad, Pinto, different women were building this wall, but it was taking us time. So one of them brought an idea of putting everything in the whole bowl, and she showed us a technique. We finished the work very fast. So no, so being selfish, you wouldn't have given this idea, and which is informing my works, which is like speeding up my process here. And another thing that I've also learned is that in working with different communities of women, is that women are aware that they are doing something in the community, they are developing the community, but it's very difficult to identify what they are doing. So once we are able to identify this, it satisfies them and they feel acknowledged. So I learn acknowledgement in this process, that you have to acknowledge. It's good to acknowledge when you see people doing stuff. Sometimes when people see the work, the last time I exhibited in my room, I invited the community to come see it. And I asked the question that, who would you think created this work? And I was very happy that no one mentioned that if I see this work anywhere, I'm going to think you created it, you TJ created it. I was satisfied that no one mentioned that I would be the one creating it, because the idea is to create a piece for the whole community, which would be identified with a group of people, not an individual. So you learn a lot in terms of nation building from women, and I have learned a lot. And every day I learn physically techniques. And my mom always say, we women are very creative than men. I say, yes, but it's true. Because if a man knows how to cook, they would say, oh, he cooks more than a woman. It means we already know women cook, and that is creativity.
It's like my dad.